right, everyone, welcome back. We are jumping into another deep dive today, and this one is all about the IELTS.
Oh, yeah, the IELTS.
You know, the International English Language Testing System.
Right.
Big deal for a lot of people if they're trying to, get into university programs or maybe even jobs in English-speaking countries.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. So we're looking specifically at the speaking section.
Okay.
And how to, really nail that speaking section. And we've got some really interesting insights from IELTS Preparation 2025. Learn English with podcast conversations.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be pretty valuable for anyone who's, feeling a bit stressed about sounding natural and fluent during that speaking test.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people get caught up in using big words and, trying to sound overly academic.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things that this material really kind of debunks.
Oh, does it?
It does, yeah. It challenges that whole idea that you need to, whip out the thesaurus and use the most complex vocabulary.
So it's more about just being yourself.
Yeah, basically, like being authentic, being clear, being conversational.
I like that.
Like, think about it when you're chatting with your friends. You don't use words like magnificent or exquisite in everyday conversation.
Yeah, not really.
Exactly. They even have this funny anecdote in the material about how native English speakers use simple language most of the time.
Right. I mean, even the most eloquent speakers, they tend to use clear and concise language.
Exactly. So that's kind of reassuring, right? It's not about showing off your vocabulary. It's about communicating effectively.
Yeah, and I think that's what the IELTS examiners are looking for, really. They want to see if you can actually hold a conversation.
Right. Express your ideas clearly.
Fluency, coherence, all that good stuff.
Okay, so less focus on fancy words, more on the flow of the conversation.
Exactly. And they actually have a great example of this in the material.
Oh, do tell.
It's a sample IELTS conversation where the examiner asks the candidate about their hometown.
Classic question.
Totally. And, the candidate gives a pretty simple and positive response. They talk about what they enjoy about their city, what makes it special.
So nothing too over the top.
No, but it works because it's genuine. It's conversational.
That's what matters, right?
Exactly. You don't need to come up with some elaborate story or use super complicated vocabulary.
Yeah, I remember when I was preparing for language exams, I used to get so hung up on finding the perfect words.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
It was all about, impressing the examiner with my vocabulary.
Instead of just, relaxing and having a conversation.
Exactly. It's like I forgot how to just talk naturally.
It happens. But this material really emphasizes that natural flow.
So how do we get that natural flow? Any tips?
Well, they have this really cool technique called the shadowing method.
Shadowing. Okay, filming it.
So basically, you listen to native speakers and you try to mimic their pronunciation, their tone, their pacing.
So like I'm their shadow.
Kinda, but you're training your brain to think and speak in English more naturally.
So it's like a mental workout for your English.
Exactly. You're absorbing the patterns of natural speech.
Interesting. But how do I know if I'm doing it right? Any common pitfalls?
Oh, yeah, definitely. One mistake is focusing too much on individual sounds.
Like getting every single sound perfect.
Yeah, it's more about the overall rhythm and intonation.
The music of the language?
Exactly. And, the material even suggests this 7-day challenge
7 days? Oh, wow.
to kind of kickstart your shadowing practice.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's the challenge?
So you find a short podcast or conversation, something like that, and you listen to a sentence, pause it, and then repeat it, mimicking the speaker.
So like copycatting, but with a purpose.
Exactly. And they recommend doing this for 10 minutes a day.
That doesn't sound too bad.
No, not at all. And, it can really make a difference.
Like you're kind of immersing yourself in the language?
Yeah. And it can really help with your fluency and your confidence.
Okay, so we've talked about debunking the myth of big words.
Hey.
We've talked about embracing authenticity and natural flow.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got this cool shadowing method to help us get there.
That's the gist of it.
So if you're out there prepping for the IELTS speaking test, remember this. It's not about sounding like a walking dictionary.
It's about connecting with the examiner.
Expressing your ideas clearly.
And showcasing your ability to communicate.
So try out this shadowing method, see how it feels, and you know what?
Yes.
You got this.
Absolutely. It makes you think how much shifting your focus from vocabulary to this natural flow change your whole approach to IELTS practice.
That's a good question.
Could be a game changer.
It could. And that's something for all of you listening to think about.
Definitely. All right.
We'll see you in the next deep dive.
See you later. 2425, 2067.